Alright, so we back with another episode of If You Build It. We got the, can I say the lead of Sycegame? Does that count? I know you don't be claiming parts, but you know, directions matter. It's cool, bro.
Lead?
Nah. Lead. What would you consider yourself?
As far as Sycegame's concerned, I consider myself a pillar. Just another pillar.
Okay, so we're back with the curator of Sycegame. Let's go. Alright, man. Let's touch on 2009. The backwoods, the Domino's trips. Tell me about that time.
2009. 2009.
Right after Club Bounce.
Yeah, I was fresh out of high school, starting school. It was easy time, simple time. I'm still trying to figure out. I'm gun ho. I know I want to do events at this point.
Yeah,
I'm doing it professionally. I'm doing it full throttle. So that was just my focus. Just trying to learn, trying to grow, trying to get as much experience as I could, because at that time, you know how jobs work. You can't really get experience. They want you to have experience before you can even get the job, but you can't get the job if you don't got experience. So I was just hungry. 2009 was a hungry time. I was plotting. I was plotting.
What were you plotting on exactly?
What was I plotting on? Getting just any idea I had as far as event related things, marketing related things, Sycegame related things, because Sycegame is still fresh, it's still new at this point. So
what was your original idea for what Sycegame could be?
My original idea? Well, Sycegame, once again, you said at the beginning, like, lead of Sycegame. I can't be considered the lead of Sycegame because it isn't me. It's always been bigger than me. When Sycegame first started, it was just a group of friends. Okay. And I can say when it grew, I played a part in that, because 2009, it went from just kids playing around to just saying like, yo, with marketing, with the right branding, we can really grow and push. So I wanted it to be a collective of just talented people, creative people that also was feeling the same way I was feeling. At that time, I was young, I was hungry, I knew what I wanted to do in life, so I was gunning for it. And I didn't want to be around anybody who doubted or had the same, or didn't have that same struggle with. When I'm working towards something and creative, and I'm around other people that's working towards something creative with that same hunger, it's driven. Because when you have people telling you, don't do this, don't do that, or it won't work, it's easy to talk to people, or be able to talk to people that's going through the same thing, and push each other, motivate each other, use each other's resources, each other's talents, each other's skills to kind of push us forward and elevate us. And that's what it was in the beginning. I wanted to be surrounded by talented, like-minded individuals. Yeah.
So, as someone who had such a strong computer and engineering background, what brought you into the event space?
The event space, it fell in my lap. So, like you said, a lot of people don't even know that, but I came from an IT robotics background. Yeah. But DJ Dino, I will forever shout him out. DJ Dino and Liz, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. I randomly met them at an event. They were promoting an event, and I was skateboarding heavy at the time, and they just said, yo, here's a flyer for my next event. Me being bored with my friends, I was like, yo, give me the bag, I'll pass them out all over Georgetown.
That was around the Cape Push days.
Right, and I was just doing it for fun, just doing it. And because I got rid of all the flyers, you know what I'm saying, it was just me being 16 and wild.
You were also a track star. You weren't just wild. You weren't just untrained. You were very trained in everything you were doing.
Yeah, but I got everything to thank to them, because of what I did. They said, yo, we want you to come with us. And I went to the event with them, and we just got close. We became friends, and they started taking me everywhere they went, as far as events were concerned. And before I knew it, I was learning things. I had no interest in it. I had no thought about it at first. But just being around it all the time, I started gaining experience that I didn't know I was gaining.
Yeah.
And then when a job opportunity came about, when I was about 17, 16, no, still 16, I came in with experience I didn't even know I had. Like, they was looking for suggestions, and I had suggestions. They were like, how do you even know that?
Can you give me an example of some of those suggestions?
Nah, bro. I was 16. You asked me. You asked me. But I do remember, I can't remember exactly what the suggestions were, but I do remember the feeling, because when they were looking at me, I was kind of thinking to myself, like, how do I even know these things?
Yeah.
And after we started implementing them, you know, those were the Club Bounce days.
Tell me about Club Bounce.
Club Bounce. It was Club Bounce. I hate talking about Club Bounce, man.
I mean, now you gotta talk about Club Bounce, because folks need to understand where DC came from. Like what part of like the hey, this is what we made for the kids.
I love Club Bounce. I love everything about it. I love everybody who was a part of that that time, that movement. That was just so long ago. That was just so long ago.
Were you one of the originators of Club Bounce?
One of the originators?
Or was it a team that was already put together and you got to work with these folks?
It was a team that was already put together, but like I said, I was a part of the growth of it. So when it started to expand and started to grow, I was I was granted the opportunity to take on different roles and different positions and just learn a lot. But yeah, that was a long time ago. Long time ago.
What was being worn back then in DC?
What was being worn in DC?
Yeah, because you're a fashionista, so I could ask these
during
questions.
Club Bounce times. This is the year of 2008 and 9.
Yeah,
that would be, oh my goodness, fashion back then. So that was the rock star era. Everybody was wearing emo, goth, spikes, mohawks,
chains on the jeans.
You know, the swag rags.
Yeah.
Skateboard shoes, fedoras.
Yeah.
What else?
Heavy eyeliner in certain cases.
It was a rough time, but that's also what made Sycegame special, because a lot of the people in the early ages of Sycegame were people that were wearing, like I know in that time I was obsessed with Stussy. I'm wearing Stussy now. But I love the brand. So I was really into brand. I was wearing a lot of like Nike SBs at the time.
What was the relevance of Stussy back then?
The relevance of Stussy back then, in general or to me?
In general.
The relevance of Stussy. It was so, while everybody was doing the whole punk rock thing, and it was pretty much, you was either punk rock, emo, or skater, wearing skater clothes.
Yeah.
Stussy was one of those early streetwear brands. So people were hip to Bape, of course, because of like Lil Wayne, Soulja Boy. When originally it was because of like Clips, Clips, Pharrell.
Yeah.
Those were really the currency Clips, Pharrell. They were the really ones that was really pushing Bape back then. But it got popular because of people like Wayne and Soulja Boy.
Yeah. But
streetwear had started to peak its head. So you had brands back then like 10 Deep, Stussy, the Hundreds. Yeah. What else back then? But Stussy was just one of those early pillars of streetwear that people were familiar with, if you were familiar with. So either you were hip or you kind of wasn't.
And Nike boots.
Nike boots? I mean, Nike boots was a staple in DC, period. Nike boots, 992s. In 2008, man, shell toe Adidas for some wild reason.
Yeah, yeah. My cousin from Jamaica came up and was like, "You need some shell toes," and I was like, "You got me fucked up."
Yeah, shell toe Adidas, 992s, Nike boots. Creative Rex had people in a headlock.
Yeah.
Creative Recreations. But yeah, man. So that was pretty much an early time to kind of start trying to break the mold, if I would say.
Yeah.
As far as I was concerned, the people I was trying to surround myself with.
Like-minded folks.
Like-minded folks, you know.
Yeah. So,
are you gonna be yourself, or you gonna wear Creative Rex?
Well, you gotta give us some background on that. What does that mean? Are you gonna be yourself, or are you gonna wear Creative Rex?
Because a lot of fashion, man, trends in general. I love trends because trends, they let you know the climate of your surroundings.
Yeah.
But people who follow trends blindly with no connection to it, I didn't really want to surround myself about any of that.
Yeah. So going from the club bounce days into the walking in backwood trails over at Catholic University, tell me about that time of plotting and planning.
Excuse me?
You were walking trails in the back of Catholic University between dominoes. That was a good time. To me, that was the magical time. That was when we were like really planning things and like, all right, if we throw this at the wall, this sticks. Right. Tell me about what you were going through. This size.
Okay, so during this era, so I'm still young. I'm once again gung-ho in being an event coordinator.
Yeah.
I need experience. Nobody's hiring 18, 19-year-old event planner, 20-year-old event planner.
Even though they were the ones with the better ideas back then. Because that was the market.
But even though I've had professional experience in the field back then, it was just an age thing. You know? They just saw young with inexperience at the time. And so I just had stuff. I had stuff written down, things that I just wanted to implement, things that I wanted to do as far as event related and marketing related. So it's like, if I can't do it for a company, then I'm going to just do it.
Yeah.
So every opportunity I got to throw an event, whether it be, a dinner party, house party, gathering, a friend's birthday party, any opportunity I got to test out ideas or to gauge reactions or to learn something, I took it.
Yeah.
I took every opportunity I could get. And Catholic University, Bowie State, that era, that college era I was in was the prime time, especially since I was young and eager to do things. I had way more energy.
Way more time.
And way more time.
Time looked different back then.
So I was running rampant. I was like, every opportunity I got to throw something, to do something. Like if you back then, if you wanted to know what the move was, you could contact me because I was plotting something. I was definitely plotting something because I had to get these ideas out of my head.
And then this leads us right directly into Jello. Because it went from ideas and actually, let's roll that back. Let's talk about the dance crew.
Okay.
Because that was a very active time. There was like a 2 to 3 year stint of publicly being active outside of practicing.
The dance crew. Sycegame dance crew.
Yeah.
So that's why I love Sycegame. And that's why I said, once again, going back, I can never call myself the lead of Sycegame because there is no lead. There are pillars. Yeah. There are definitely pillars. But there's no lead. And the reason why I say this is because Sycegame is a conglomerate of different people. Chefs, engineers, biochemists, mental health advocates, event coordinators, producers, sound engineers, designers, musicians. It's so vast. And whoever is hot is the person who becomes the lead. And you bringing up the dance crew is a grand example. Yeah. There was so much going on in Sycegame. But if you mention Sycegame, they'd be like, oh, the dance crew? Yeah. Because that was it. Because they were, at that time, they were the hottest. They are still, I will say this unapologetically. Dance in DC wouldn't be, the dance community in DC wouldn't be what it is if Sycegame dance crew didn't exist.
I agree.
Period. Yeah. They are still known figures and pillars, but that Sycegame dance crew was the lead at that time.
That was like 3 years,
right? And they had a run, a mean run, where you said I'm the lead, but I walk around with a Sycegame shirt, hoodie, or button. They'd be like, oh, so what I'm saying, you must know, Sheldon, you must know. Like I'd be like, yeah, I mean, I know them, but I'm a fan. They look at me like, oh, I got a button too. And I'm just like, but I actually work with them.
Yeah. And technically speaking, that actually foresighted your work at Love Nightclub, but we'll get to that later in the interview.
But but the dance crew. Wait, what was the question about the dance crew?
Just talk about the dance.
Oh,
crew.
yeah, that was it.
What was that time like?
That time was it was a time. Ups, downs, loves, but they were literally I think in my opinion they had the longest run.
What were their names?
The names? Man, y'all can look that up, man.
Y'all
know the names, man.
We put a picture in front of them. It'll just be like, oh, this is them? Yeah.
Man, I guarantee you, anybody that's watching this video right now know exactly who all the members of Sycegame dance crew was. They were at least if you're from DC, if you even maybe beyond, but
this gonna be an international show.
Yeah, so but they were hot. They were hot.
Okay, all right, bet. So, Jello House Party. Tell me about the cabinet.
Jello House Party. Which one?
Let's start with Maryland. Because
Okay.
there was the Maryland, and then there was the DC side.
Those parties they were a good time, Great time. Learned a lot. Gained a lot of experience. Those events were staples that concluded the day. That's the politically correct answer.
Yeah, that's not what the show is.
What do you want to know? You gotta give me.
Why Jello?
The answer to that question is why not.
Okay.
We did Jello because we were kids. At the end of the day, we were 19, 20. But
Devin made the call.
Well, you said Maryland. We're talking Maryland.
Maryland. Okay, so the Maryland side.
It was a house party. Okay, I can talk about this.
Yeah.
I can talk about this. I had a friend. He was I had a good friend. He was part of a lot of committees. He was a very well versed, individual. Definitely somebody I was happy to have in my circle. But he was moving, and he was like, "Yo, I'm leaving my home." He was about to move pretty much out of town. He was like, "I want to have one last hoorah."
Yeah.
At my place, house party. And I was like, yeah, I would love to throw a house party at your house. What? All fun, no responsibilities. You don't tell a kid that. That's
and no cleanup.
Because they were hiring. I think that was the thing. I think they were hiring someone to come clean up the next day.
That's perfect. Then.
So he was like, if I'm paying them, because they had to clean up, there was a flat fee.
Yeah.
So it was like, I'm getting my money's worth.
So you don't even gotta feel bad.
Nah.
Yeah.
But we did the joint. It was epic. I mean, that's why they're called epic Jello parties. That was the staple. But it was a party. It was out in Maryland. Ironically, I was skeptical about doing it.
Yeah.
I was skeptical about doing it because it was way out in Maryland. And this is before Ubers, things like that. You would have to catch a train, taxi cab, drive. And we were not that many of us drove at the time. But I had that mentality. Ironically, title of this thing, I said to myself, if we build it, they will come. Yeah. So I put out the announcement probably on MySpace. I don't know what the platform was at that time.
It was probably MySpace. Either that or Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter was not around yet.
It wasn't around yet?
Nah.
What year was this?
I might have been around, but I don't think nobody was on it.
Okay.
But I can't remember. But yeah, so we did it. It was like we got a bunch of Jello. We got a pool. We got a house. Come. People came. People came. And I'm thinking, I don't know, was this my first real house party?
Was that your first Project X?
No. Jello 2.
Jello 2 was the first Project X.
But I think this is the first house party I threw. Legitimate house party I threw. And
on purpose.
Yeah. That was the key word. Because they've happened on accident before, but this is the first planned one.
Yeah.
And it was successful, you know. It all worked out. It got shut down, of course, because, you know.
That's a sign of a good party.
Right.
Yeah.
But what was special about that night was I was literally, the gears were turning that whole night. So I was really thinking about, you know, what's going well, what's the crowds like. Things that, that's once again the reason why I went from IT to what I do now, because for some reason, naturally, when I do events, whether it be big, small, house party, gala, no matter the size, I'm always in thinking mode.
Yeah.
So while this was going, I was like just taking mental notes of what could we do better, what's going right, what's going wrong.
So you were tinkering with the idea of what's next.
Exactly. But not on purpose. Just naturally. I was just naturally doing these things.
Yeah.
And to answer your earlier question, that's why I went the event route, because when I do IT, when I did robotics, I enjoy robotics because I like the finished product, but I didn't enjoy the process.
Yeah.
It's tedious. Coding is tedious, building is tedious, but with event coordination, it's still tedious. But I don't just enjoy the end result. I enjoy the process leading up into it. Yeah. And that's why, we'll probably talk about my process now. But back then, gears was just still turning. Yeah. So while this house party is going, I'm thinking about the next, not just house party, but this is going well here. I can apply this to this. I can apply this to this. I can apply this to that. And, yeah. But long story short, Jello was Jello. People were peopled. It was a house party. Everything you can think about a house party happened.
So going from Jello in Maryland to Jello in DC.
Jello 2. So there's that. You did a time skip. Yeah. So in between that, I was actually doing. So now that I've done my first house party, I'm thinking in my head, oh, house parties are fun. Because I'm still young.
It's not work yet.
Yeah, I'm still young. Yeah. And I'm like, I had fun. We had fun. We're you know, let's do this. Let's do more. Yeah. So I've been doing, between Jello 1 and Jello 2, I've done more house parties, but I've also done more like work with clubs in between. Yeah. To gain experience. So I worked with 2 promotional companies at the time, just to compare what was going on in the clubs to what was going on in my house parties. And I was also taking on assisting gigs for like fashion shows, opening pop-ups, listening parties, things like that, just so I can just be in the room. I was an intern for Raheem Devon during the early 368 days. Yeah. Did work with Studio 43, interning as well, just so I could just gauge the climate of different things. So, like I said, once I got like that taste, I'm just running around rampant. So I'm all over the city.
Is that where you learned marketing?
Yes. So I'm just everywhere, just absorbing, being a sponge, learning as much as I can. And so we go from Jello 1. I've absorbed all the information I needed to do and learn and gain. And now We're at Jello 2.
What was the difference between Jello 1 and Jello 2?
The difference between Jello 1 and Jello 2 was Jello 1, I've never purposely threw a house party before. I've thrown events. I've worked in clubs. I've, like I said, I've done all styles, but this is my first house party. There's more involved. You got to consider the person's home. You got to consider like legality, stuff. And this, like I said, these are the things that I'm thinking about. No child is thinking about, what do we do when the cops come? They're thinking about we just scatter. But I'm thinking about, okay, is everybody here 21 and up? Like I'm thinking about that like as somebody that's 20 who also can't drink. But it was just that. So the difference between that is a year passed. I'm 21 now.
Yeah. And a whole new world.
And I have a whole year's worth of me accumulating all this knowledge and experience, but I haven't used it yet.
Yeah.
So Jello 2 was me unleashing everything I've gained. Because arrogance, young and arrogance, I'm thinking I know everything. I'm doing everything.
Yeah.
And just because you know everything don't mean you're supposed to do everything.
Yeah.
But I did everything. And everything happened. Jello 2. You said Project X. Project X wasn't even out. The movie didn't come out yet.
The movie didn't come out till like 7 years later.
This is a house. It was a home. A home in DC. I would say the capacity of the house was probably... How big was that house? It was probably... You could probably comfortably, if you wanted to fill it up, it could probably fill up about 90 people.
Was this the Northwest house or the Northeast? The Northeast house.
This was Jello House.
Okay.
So 90 people. We had one of our people do counts as we were doing. He stopped counting at 1,000. This is a house party.
That could only hold 90 people.
People were in the back, people were in the front, people were upstairs, people were downstairs. No, the downstairs could only hold about 90 people. People were upstairs, basement, everywhere. There was... I'm not going to talk about what it was. This is a lot going on.
Life probably looks so different for you being in the moment.
But once again, that thing was crazy. It was crazy, and there was actually a big event going on in the city at the time.
What event?
Trey Songz was in town.
That's when he was hot.
This is 2011. So I was actually asked not to do the event, to not compete with that. And I was just, like I said, I was just young, I was hot, I was like, what? No, we're doing it. Who's gonna stop us? Trey Songz? What? I was just feeling myself way too much. But it was still successful, really successful. And this was, now I can say Twitter for a fact, is it was being tweeted everywhere. When they tweeted about it, people were just the cops were just outside with their hands on their hips trying to figure out what is going on.
Yeah.
But even on that level, it was wild. It was extremely wild. There was a lot of people, but it was not wild in the sense of, and this is also how I know, like I had an affinity for this, because it wasn't wild in the sense of chaos. There was a lot going on.
Yeah.
But it was still organized.
Yeah.
Still organized. There were lines going in. There were lines to get drinks. We monitored who was drinking, how much they had. We cut people off when needed to be cut off.
Yeah. There was controlled chaos.
Yeah. When the main floor got too crowded, we actually directed people downstairs or upstairs just to keep crowd flow.
Have a good counterbalance.
Yeah, we even upcharged at the door. We increased the price to like unnecessary amounts, like $50, $100. Not because we wanted to make a profit, but to turn people away.
Yeah.
So I also took in consideration people's not emotions, people's behavior. Because when you turn people away, when you say they can't get in, that leads to anger. But when you tell somebody it's $50 to get into a house party, they be like, "Oh, I'm going somewhere else." And that also, from a branding perspective, that was like, "Yo, that party was $50, and it was that crazy." But at the same time, it turned them away, and it kept us at a good crowd, meaning it wasn't just crazy. So all these different methods, we had people who are intimidating enough to be at the front and keep things. A lot of thought went into Jello too.
Yeah,
a lot of thought, and it worked. Now,
shout out to the door crew.
The only thing that's different between Jello 2 then and me now is I would never let capacity get that crazy.
Yeah,
I'm very more.
The good time and not the numbers.
I had to think about how honest that was.
Was it honest?
Because my numbers are still...
Yeah, but your spaces are different now.
That's true. Yeah, so I would never have a space that small and try to do that much. If I know, I'm going to at least do it at a bigger space. So I think that's what I learned from that eventually.
Yeah.
Eventually. But I did learn from that. But like I said, it was a huge event, and I was testing everything I learned.
Yeah.
Everything I learned.
Now, moving on from Jello, we're going to touch on marketing, but the pivot is you went from competing with Trey Songz to bringing out Kurt Cobain's. Let's talk about that.
Okay, Kurt Cobain's. You was really on that. He was really on that page. Okay, so once again, so now I'm a house party dealer now. Apparently, I had two spaces.
Yeah.
Like you said, northeast and northwest. In one of the spaces, I did an event. Sycegame Dance Crew. Yeah. So a cousin of Sycegame Dance Crew member, a cousin of one of the Sycegame Dance Crew members went to one of the house parties, occasionally. And she told her boyfriend, now they're married, shout out to them. I love them to death. I love them both. But she told him, like, yo, you have to go to a Sycegame house party. Yeah. And little did I know that this is one of the managers of Ibiza nightclub. He is grown. He does Ibiza. And if you live in D.C., Ibiza and Love were just the top two super clubs in D.C. Why are you dragging me to a house party? Yeah. And he showed up and he saw why. And he hunted me down. He was like, "Who's doing this? Who is making this happen?" Yeah. And we met, we talked, and he wanted to bring me in as a promoter. So we met. We had a meeting, and within our meeting, we were talking, and he was like, "You know way more than just bringing people out." Yeah. And he brought me in as he brought me in as a coach and a special events curator. So I did all their special events. After the Kirko, I ended up doing their special events such as Halloween, things like that. Anything that was just curated, like it was just like a one-time only thing, like special events they had. So you were big on special events back in the day when you were younger. This is when it started. It was all thanks to him. Yeah, that's Joe. I gotta shout Joe out. It was all thanks to Joe. But when he brought me in there, the first gig he had me do was the Kurt Cobain's. the Coco Bangs gig.
And that line was around the corner.
Yeah, so he said he had a list of artists. He was like, who, you know, with the crowd you have and what you could do. What artist? Coco Bangs was the hottest artist at the time.
That was the drink in my cup.
Yeah, that was the hottest joint. And this is my first time actually. I did concerts before. I've worked with big name artists, but I never got to choose. This is my. I was always. It was they were given to me.
Yeah.
Like, this is the artist you got to work with. But this is the first time I had an artist that like. They was like, all right, there's 4 artists. Which one you want? And then I went from there.
Was there a different weight in terms of you now having to choose the artists?
Nah, I told you I'm arrogant at this point.
You're not thinking about what failure looks like. You're like, nah, I'm gonna win.
I haven't lost yet.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying. So like, I'm taking L's, but like I took L's before that. But like at this point, like I'm winning. You know?
Well, what did an L for you look like back in the day?
These are like old days. These are like Club Bounce days. You know, we Club Bounce was every week at one point. They were special at one point. They were like once a month.
Yeah.
But then it evolved to every week. And I had to see times where I would do something and nobody would show up.
Yeah.
And I had to figure out why. Because I was getting paid to figure out why.
Yeah. And that's a very big deal.
When I was a child at this time, this is I'm like 16, 17, and I got to sit down, you know, after I do my homework and figure out like, yo, why did I fail?
That's real. That's very real.
Yeah.
After track practice, after homework,
after everything, you know.
Why are we not doing good right now?
Because because I've already told myself, told my parents, told everybody that this is what I want to do, and like they say, nah, that's not real, and then like I see me failing, I'm like, yo, they might be right, so I got to fix it.
Yeah.
But that's how you also know when you're passionate. It's like they might be right. I need to fix it. Yeah. Versus it might be right. I give up.
So passion is the ability to overcome the obstacles.
Yeah, but literally, I had a good run. So I failed a lot. I failed a lot.
You failed at a good time though. But there was no internet. There wasn't heavy. No one could see your receipts.
And because exactly. And because I failed a lot during those times, I was able to understand the importance of practice, which is why those house parties were so important, which is why the kickbacks I did, which is why the dinner parties, birthday parties, little intimate things, because I was able to test things, engage people's reactions and responses in small spaces before I could take it to a bigger space or take it to a company or take it to a bigger venue or, you know, an agent or something like that, because I've tested this theory several times. I know it works. Yeah. And to the point where I would write down what would work, and I still do have skeletons.
So you got notebooks. Yeah. Like notebooks with years on them.
Yes. And I still update them today. Even an event that we have coming up this month, I'm about to try something completely new, but these are tested theories.
And these are concepts that you've been sitting on for about 7-8 months.
Right. Nah. Years. Literally. About what I'm about to implement this month, I've been working on for about 3 years. Okay. So that's what goes into it. That's what goes into that. But I went off into a tangent.
No, that's a good tangent. That's what folks are here for. Like, that's when you like, how did he keep this consistency? Because like, you're talking about something that's lasted for a little bit under 17 years now. Because we're going into 2022.
And if people pay attention to me, like when I do events, it'll be subtle. But like a lot of the events are annual at this point. They're the same. But I always do something different. Yeah. And just to see how people react to it. It'd be small.
Does that include giving back to the community?
Yes, but this is the event that's coming up is it's a charity drive. It's for we're collecting clothes. And I've been trying with all the charity drives I've been doing this one little thing slowly just to see if it works or not. Yeah. Because I do know what works. So I'm not going to jeopardize what works for a test. But I've been implementing it little by little, and now I'm going full throttle, and it's going to work. Okay. Guaranteed.
Okay. I'm here for that. I like that. You're giving the Blue Magic speech that Denzel gave in American Gangster.
No.
guarantee.
But like I said, I haven't lost in over 10 years. And the reason why I haven't lost in over 10 years isn't because, like I said, I was young and arrogant going back to that story. But when I went into Epic Jello 2, when I went into Ibiza, when I went to these places, I wasn't arrogant because I was cocky. I was arrogant because I was cautious. I was super cautious. When it was time for me to do this job at Ibiza, I had already prepared to do this job for a year.
Yeah.
So, it wasn't, I was getting the opportunity and I was green. I was getting the opportunity and I was overqualified at that point.
Yeah.
It just wasn't on my resume yet.
Yeah.
But
which actually rolls into your real life role in terms of what you do outside of throwing personal events. But we'll get back to that later because this camera's about to overheat, so we gotta take a 10-minute break. Good job. Alright, man, so let's talk about this marketing campaign that you've been on for like the last 12 years, man. Tell me about the power of a button.
Power of a button. So Sycegame. Sycegame is what it is. It is what I explained in the beginning. I wanted it to be not even just me. Well, no, honestly, it was me and everybody was just on board because, it's dope. But I wanted it to be us supporting each other, looking out for each other, motivating each other, etc. But we definitely had to have core people because we would have to collaborate. So we have to motivate.
I'm not sure I understand.
Your phone's talking to us. Should I just turn her off?
No, never mind. Nothing.
She went away. Siri interrupted the interview, bro. Yeah, but keep going.
But yeah, I wanted Sycegame to be something where people could come together, collaborate, motivate each other, support each other. We had to have a core following because we needed people that we could use each other's resources. Like if I do events, of course I'm gonna have to collaborate with a designer. Of course I'm gonna have to collaborate with a photographer, a videographer. If you're a producer in Sycegame, of course you're gonna want to work with an artist or a sound engineer. Yeah. If you do fitness in Sycegame, of course you're gonna want to work with someone with the venue or even someone that has science skills or health experience to give so the core members of Sycegame are people that can definitely collaborate, use each other for whatever resources we may need, keep everything in-house and just easier for us to grow. But I didn't want to limit it to just that because along the way we met a lot of great people. There are people, the like-mindedness didn't just stay with the core. It expanded. We have a lot of good friends, affiliates, where it became family. Like the Sycegame family is bigger than just what it was, and that's where the things like buttons, pins, stickers, and things come into play because I wanted to give people things to show that I'm part of this family too, because these people are family to me at this point. So people that wear the pin, people that have a sticker on their, car or laptop or things like that, is deeper than just marketing, but it's also a symbol of we think the same. We're motivated. There are things that we want to accomplish. It's just a symbol of like-mindedness.
Okay. Whose idea was it to make buttons?
The idea to make buttons was, of course, the GOAT, Vaughn. Of course, he's the one that designed the original logo and the logo that we have now. His idea was to do the buttons and the stickers. So it was his idea to get them made, and then I pretty much implemented the marketing behind it. So we don't just have buttons and stickers here.
Yeah.
It's there's a deeper meaning behind the buttons and stickers.
Okay.
But nah, definitely.
So years, I'm talking about years of photos. I've never seen so many people in so many different places take the photos of similar product over and over and over again. You had Fat Trail with a button. You had Plain Pat with a button. You had who else that's relevant with a button? You had In the Pocket.
Type of one there.
Yeah, with a button. It's just
Currency, Travis Scott, Iggy Azalea. Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as
You got around. And it was consistent. There was there has always been a certain emotion in the photos when everyone has the button. Where does that come from?
Exactly what I explained. It's a button, but it's more like a badge, you know. I would say the buttons are like badges. The pins are like insignias. They're is deeper than just a material item.
Did Pokemon play a part in this?
Nah, but I did think about it. So when we did the insignias, I was thinking about making like a bunch of different ones and then just doing some type of thing with it, but it got complicated and I'm lazy.
All right, so what made you explore the logo when it comes to Sycegame? Because I don't feel it's something you guys are trying to change. At most, you may add to it, but it's a very small nuance, nothing major.
Adaptation. So in the beginning, the original Sycegame logo was blue and purple.
Okay.
It was dope. It's a really cool. It was cool, really cool. But we made, just for fun, Vaughn made various colorways. I think there was, the original one was blue and purple. There was a green and purple one, I think. There were a bunch of different colors. There was like a red and green.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's the one that everybody knows, the pink and yellow.
Yeah.
The pink and yellow was very vibrant. And when we started doing clothing, testing out on different products and stuff, no matter what logo or clothing piece we use, the pink and yellow one, the lemonade colorway, stood out the most.
So it's called Lemonade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Vaughn named it the lemonade colorway back then, and it stood out the most. So we stuck with it. We stuck with it, and there's no regrets. You can see that logo using Velvet Lounge for an example. Anywhere, it could be a bunch of stickers or anything. You can see that logo from a mile away. If someone has it on a shirt or anything, it's clearly visible.
Yeah.
Even if you can't make out exactly what it is, you see the colorway. It just sticks. Evolution concerned. So the logo was the logo. Then as I got older, I started doing more than just parties, more events, more styles, more mature things, networking things, art events, more stuff that was more than just turn up.
Yeah.
So for those events, we had to have a more mature, logo. So we just had the word Sycegame, which is on the sticker. And that's how that was created. And recently, I want to say within the past 5 years, we've just combined them. So we have the most recent logo is just the words with the iconic figure peeking over it.
What made you choose that typography?
You have to talk to Vaughn. He was the genius behind all of that. I was just standing behind him like, oh, boy, I see what you did. Oh, you made that. I was just gassing him up behind him. But no, Vaughn, no, he killed it. He's different, man. Creatively, he's a different, that's why I love working with him. That's why I loved it. It's just when you're working on what you're doing and then you see somebody working on what they're doing, and you could just, back then I would see him working. I would gas him up, and then I would go home. I'm like, I ain't getting left behind, man. I'm about to do something cool. I'm about to do something cool too. But no, you have to ask him.
Okay. I may have to bring him on for an episode if you build it then. So you went into marketing with the buttons, and what was that piece of board called? Does that have a name? Where you had the Sycegame board where the folks took the pictures? Because you had the buttons and then you had the thing, the rectangle. What was that called?
That's it. I mean,
it's just a rectangle.
Why did I do that? Testing. So that board, I am going to probably get some. That was so. It worked. We utilized it for a lot, but it was just me testing things.
Was it ever awkward having to ask people back for an item after they took a photo with it? Like, hey, let me get that back.
I mean, I don't think anybody. Well, no, there's some people that did want that, but that was part of the reason why. When you give people a sticker, they're more prone to like, yo, I want the sticker, and I don't blame them. But with the board, it was easier to ask for that back because it's a large item. Yeah. Some people I had to ask, and then do a little quick tug of war, but no, it was easier to get that back than it was for the sticker, and that's the reason why I opted for that for photos instead of the sticker. But I want to bring that back because we have our backdrop now and things like that.
Strong backdrop.
Yeah, so it was just me testing things out. Like,
okay. All right, because that's
you mentioning that is funny because, like I said, there's just little things in past events where I just try little things to see, gauge reactions. Does it work? Don't work? And then eventually, like when I actually invest, there'll be a table full of props that people can utilize. But it was just me testing stuff out.
So, what brought you into the collaboration space between you and Love Your Mind? Because that felt like that was one of the first times Sycegame had done a lot of events together and had done a lot of collaborative efforts publicly, but that was the first time I saw you allow someone else to be a part of the brand in terms of putting two things together and coming up with a concept to sell on merch.
One, I love the concept of Love Your Mind. I love, me and Brian are close. It was organic. Yeah. And that's what it was. It wasn't, he didn't contact me and say, yo, I would love to do a collaboration with Sycegame. I didn't contact him and say, I would love to do a collaboration with Love Your Mind. We were literally hanging out regular day. And I'm a very fast mover when I get the chance to be. So we were sitting down and we were just hanging out. It was me, him, it was like two other people. And I was just always a fan of his work because we do a lot of community work, and anything I can do to do more. We do clothing drives, we do school drives, we do clothing drives, school drives, canned food drives. I want to do more work with Get Home Safe. Anything that's positive for the community that we don't have enough access to, I really want to be able to just do my part. Yeah. And get people involved. Because a lot of people want to do more. A lot of people want to do good things. People want to support good things, but they just don't have it around them. They don't have access to it. So to build awareness to his brand, which focuses on mental health. And also, that was during really close to Valentine's Day. And on Valentine's Day, a lot of people are so worried about being with someone or just being loved by someone instead of focusing on, self. It's important to care about yourself just as much as it is to care about someone. Yeah. So Love Yourself was something that we came up with just organically, just talking, just hanging out. And we literally drew it up right then and there. We were with a designer. She drew it up right there.
Was Jameson involved?
Yes. A lot. Specifically, that was very specific and accurate. But yeah, Jameson was involved. But we just drew it up right then and there. And I remember, like, Ryan even said, he was like, yo, this is the wildest business meeting I've ever been in. And I was like, because he was like, all right, man, we got everything written down, and that was cool, man. I'll get back to him. I was like, nah, bro, I'm about to look up a website right now. We're ordering this now. Mm-hmm. Like, we drew it up, did it, and placed the order right then and there. I think we only took a day to review the design just to make sure it was clean.
Yeah.
But it was done. And then the only thing that was needed to do after that was the actual marketing behind it. And then
what did that marketing plan sound like?
The marketing plan, it was just so what we did was we didn't want to just sell merch. Mm-hmm. So we did have the merch available online, and then we had the event, the Love Yourself event, where you can come get the merch, you could come talk. We had live art. We had I printed out a lot of my the Sycegame campaign photos, and we had those on display as like a installation.
Yeah.
But more importantly, every week leading up to I think it was every day. Mm-hmm. Every day leading up into the event, we had a mental health fact or mental health news or just something pertaining to mental health to just have people read, look up.
So you wanted to make the drop itself make sense.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just about the clothes. People love it. People love the message, but it was about getting information out there.
And this was also before mental health was popular.
Correct.
Because now it's a buzzword.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know my feelings on mental health being a buzzword.
Yeah. But no, it was a big thing, and it was something that he was always talking about. He brought it to my attention, to my life, because he's the reason why him and you are a lot of the reasons why I've done a lot of personal reflecting and things like that.
Really?
Yeah, it's necessary.
Okay.
But I reflect on like things that we all reflect on, how can I do better, things like that. But I didn't start asking myself, am I okay, until having conversations with you and Ryan.
Yeah.
So, no, that was because like I said, the campaign was love yourself. And once again, I don't believe in pushing something if I'm not doing it myself.
Yeah. You know what's funny about this conversation is because you guys made that shirt, that gave me material to give Get Home Safe branding when we were trying to figure out what do we want this company to be. Because Get Home Safe wasn't supposed to be a company. It was supposed to be a campaign.
Right.
Which was supposed to start with Mental Health Monday, and it became Get Home Safe in that March of 2018. But because I had the Love Yourself shirt that I got from you and Ryan, the You Matter hoodies, and Ryan had his clothing from Love Your Mind, I was able to collectively put all those color palettes and messages together and think to myself, hopefully people get what we're trying to do or what is the message that we are attempting to relay, which is important because, as you and I know, messaging is everything. Because messaging is, okay, what do they say they are? And branding is, okay, they say they're this thing, are they actually that thing that they promise to quote unquote be? Right. Yeah.
And that's where I'm at right now. So younger me, when I was doing events and things like that, it was more so, can I do this? How big can I do this?
Yeah.
How flawless? So now that I've kind of mastered the concept of events, it's more so, can I incorporate a purpose behind this? At first it was, all right, everybody, I'm doing an event, I guarantee I'm going to kill it. Come see me kill it. Now it's more so, hey guys, I'm doing an event. What are we celebrating? What's the message? What's the purpose?
Yeah.
What are we getting out of this? Which is why I don't do things so often anymore. They're more, because there has to be a reason. There has to be a holiday, a celebration, a charity, a fundraiser. There has to be a purpose for what I'm doing now. Even down to little things. I don't know if anybody know this, but when I do Cinco de Mayo and St. Patrick's Day, we do flights.
Yeah.
we'll have different types of tequilas, different types of Jamesons on the board, on the flight board. But then, you know, you're educated on the different types and things like that. So you're learning a little something, but you're turning up, even down to the Christmas party or the holiday party, the canned food drive. Yeah, we're having a great time. We're eating. We're doing all these things, but we are also giving back to the community. It has to be some type of purpose in everything we do.
Yeah. Is there a reason in particular you're such a purpose-driven person?
For somebody that's been doing what I've been doing for so long, it keeps what I'm doing valuable to me.
Okay.
It's no longer repetitive. I can do a good event. But am I just going to keep doing a good event over and over and over? There's no test. There's no challenge. There's no motivation.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? And that's why purpose is so important.
So you're not chasing the party. You're chasing the value.
Correct. You know, is this event I'm doing changing me? Is it affecting anyone else? On a positive level. We don't have and it shows. We don't have altercations. It's love. Whenever you come to a Sycegame event, it's always love. It's always positive energy. It's always a community. And the reason why it's a community is because there's purpose. Yeah. These people aren't just gathering because it's Friday. They're gathering because it's like a family reunion every time. It's bigger than just going out at this point. Yeah. They know when they go out, they're going out to support something that could potentially do good for someone.
All right, so you said it's love. I'd like for us to touch on Love Nightclub.
I like that transition. Love Nightclub.
What do you call it when someone is one of the last of the Mohegans to an establishment? Which I know about that quite well. Because you were part of the team that closed the doors. Didn't choose to, but on the way out, you're like, oh, I guess this is us. Is there an inheritance there with being one of the last people to run such a relevant establishment?
I'm glad I was able to do it. Love is a staple, you know, even when it was Dream. Yeah. So, being young, you know, high school, that was the place, you know, we had to go. Because that's where all the cool kids were. Cool, more than just cool kids, the cool adults, the cool kids, the cool everything. Yeah. So, I was there. You was outside. I was at Love because that's where I gained a lot of my my knowledge from, because Love Park. Ibiza wasn't around yet. Love Zanzibar, and the Park. Yeah, were the pinnacle at the time. So and H2O nightclub, those were the pinnacles at the time. So to be in those places, you know, gathering information, learning, and having fun, to be able to get the opportunity to work there, you know, as a member of the staff, you know, as somebody that's working their operations, and them trusting me, because I was still young. And we were talking earlier, you know, I had all these ideas and things that I wanted to implement that were tested. So, you know, they weren't normal. It wasn't your cliche club marketing pitch, but I've tested these theories. They've worked. I want to do this on a grand scale. And Love didn't. They was just like, go. Yeah. They hired you to be who you are. And it was successful. In collaboration with a lot of other phenomenal individuals who also had a following, and a following and experience, we were able to pull off the return of love. And it came back just as strong. But
so there was a down period when you came into the doors to bring it back to what it used to be.
No.
Okay.
Love was smart. So they there wasn't a down period. They when they reopened, they said we want whoever's popping in the city right now. They have the money, so they just.
Oh, so they were closed for a period.
Yeah, it was gone.
Okay, so they were closed and they brought you guys back.
Yeah, so it closed and then someone bought it and it was under new management. And they said if it's not broke, don't fix it. We're not changing the name or nothing. It's love.
Yeah.
But they wanted whoever was hot in the city. They literally just rounded us up and had us in there. And then I went from being one of them to just someone that was, like I said, I was more on the operations side. And we did it. And I loved it because I was able to see everything I loved on a grand scale. Because love was, like I said, though it was one of those high pillars between those list of venues I've named. Love was on that list. So it was confirmation that what I'm doing is what I've learned, what I've been implementing, and what I've been doing is right.
And it's very important to have confirmation in everything that we do.
Yeah.
Do you think it's...
and I got well acquainted with bottle service then too.
Tell me more about bottle service. Tell me more about bottle service.
In regards to...
the politics.
The politics?
Yeah.
Politics? No politics. What? I can't tell you. I buy them.
Nah, I get that, but can relationships be built through bottle service?
Yes. Wait. In regards to yes, that's a tricky question. For me, yes.
Well, tell us more.
But in regards to what you mean, I'm not sure what you mean. So I've met a lot of people who I still am in contact with, like good friends, good connections through bottle servers, bottle wars, bottle competitions. You know, I've met a lot of good people just during that crazy time. Yeah. But that I'm still really close to today. But is that what you meant?
I mean, yeah, I think I never viewed bottle service as the thing to do. Like when I go into clubs, because you know me, I fuck with bartenders. Those usually my folks. That's the industry that I come from. Within like the last, I guess it would have been a decade if Velvet was still open to this day. This year would have made a decade, right? But prior to that, you were the person who introduced me to the importance of bottle service and getting to know the bottle girls of your favorite establishments or the folks who run the establishment. You were the person who said, hey, it's cool to shake their hands and get to know who they are. Like, the good time happens because they're here. It's not happening because you showed up.
Yeah, and that's another thing. During that era, and even to this day, that separated. Actually, I think the city does a lot better with this now. I think people are a lot more comfortable with talking to bartenders, servers, things like that. But we were 100% against being elitist. So when we were in VIP, I remember we don't have to do it no more because people just kind of know when we walk in. We don't really we be in VIP areas, but we don't really believe in VIP. Yeah, we're in VIP because I want to be amongst my friends and things like that. But the whole velvet rope thing, you know, to separate us and to show that we move the ropes. VIP is whack. Seats are cool. That's the great part.
Everyone loves seats.
Sitting down is great. Being able to, when you're finished dancing and things, having a place to sit is really good. But besides sitting, there's really no purpose. There's really no purpose of VIP. So we've always moved the ropes when bottle service would come, we would speak to them. We would crack jokes. That's why I built relationships with these people, because we're all working hospitality. We're all hanging out. We're all having a good time. The music's great. It's not that serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that serious. We'll help them clean, things like that. And I think that's why a lot of venues appreciated us as well, because we treated the people like people.
Stadium, they loved us over there.
Mm-hmm.
And they loved the fact that we cleaned up, and it was always jokes, but we made sure everybody was paid at the end of the night after.
Yeah, like Stadium was a great example. Stadium is, it's a gentleman's club.
Mm-hmm.
So people go there for that. So when we were going, it was hilarious for the first 2 weeks
mm-hmm.
because ladies would come up and they would think we were here for entertainment, and I'm here for the salmon.
Mm-hmm. Because they had that 5-star chef.
Yeah, no, the food was amazing, but but it caught on.
Yeah.
So once they realized we were there just to have a great time, eat and things like that, I love the fact that they would come over after they would finish their shifts and things like that and just hang out because it's a vibe.
Yeah.
And that goes for just not there. That goes for love. That people. Even down to Cloak, where we're at now, I'm always usually on the main floor and not upstairs because I don't want to be separated from the people, because I'm not really here to be in VIP.
Yeah.
The people when we do events, we know everyone.
We really do.
We know everyone, so we can't have a VIP.
Yeah.
There is no VIP. There's no very important person.
Mm-hmm. And we also got to the point that we could recommend our folks who are in the industry to work certain events.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's an important take on the relationship and fostering great relationships, and that it takes time.
So it's just about camaraderie, community, in all aspects. Community and camaraderie. We are who we are. We have our family, but we also have people outside of just the core.
Yeah,
that is family. So we can't have VIP.
Yeah.
We could, but can I fit 200 people?
So now that you've removed the ropes and there's no such thing as VIP in the world of Sycegame, let's talk about giving back to the community and how many events you've done and the spreading of Sycegame in terms of, hey, it's okay to have the party and give back.
In total, we have done
a lot of cookouts.
No, I can actually give you an accurate number. This will be our 5th year. We do 3 a year. Where this is the last one. So this will be, we have done
a little bit of the 15.
17.
17 events.
17 community events. And then
from clothes drives to food drives to book drives. Anything else? Am I missing anything?
Clothing, food, book, and canned goods. Canned goods. And this upcoming one will be the 18th. Our 18th community event.
What brought the community back for you? Because you started out in house parties.
Well, actually, if I'm being correct, it's even more. We're talking about, these are the events that I have done. Community events that Sycegame as a whole has done. I couldn't even give you a number, because you got to keep in mind Sycegame is bigger than just me.
Yeah.
And I want to think that everyone, you have who have gone to schools to perform, elementary schools and things like that, all the community work you've done. We've all, if I'm being 100% honest with you, I think we've all have hosted, not just been a part of.
Yeah.
That would be a whole nother number, but every single member of Sycegame, I believe, has led a community service event.
Yeah.
But me personally, this will be my 18th.
18's a good number. It's a solid number. What did anything bring the community back into focus for you? Because you've always done stuff with a purpose. And when there was no purpose in the room, you've always brought a purpose back into where it needs to be at the forefront.
Okay.
So, what brought purpose back?
What brought purpose back for
us to start doing more community events? Because I remember one day we were at a cookout and you were like, yo, this is a drive. And I was like, bet. We've never fought back on doing a community event.
So the first one, what made me do it? Wow. It was time. It might have just been time. I couldn't tell you.
Well, so when you say it might have been time, what does that mean?
It might have. You're talking. I was young, so it might have just been impulse.
Okay.
I was very impulsive, and I do know canned food. It started with canned food drives. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Fun fact: I did it when I was young.
Okay.
So it's fun. I don't know why collecting cans is fun for me. It's a fun activity. I love giving food. It's weird. I'm a weirdo, but it's fun. But adding that to the cookout, because we did our cookouts before, and it wasn't a canned food drive. You're correct.
It was not a canned.
It was a Sycegame cookout.
It was a Sycegame.
That was
cookout.
a thing. Those were things.
Yeah. And there was balance. You already had balance in the room when you started it. But you did it amongst your friends first to test it out.
It's a pattern. It's a pattern. I run tests. I always run tests before I let these things grow.
Yeah.
But it was just time. And I love the concept. The name, everyone eats.
Yeah.
Sycegame Cookout, everyone eats. Come, give food, get food. Everybody eats B. But
such a show reference.
it is what it is. I think it was just time. I had the idea. I had the concept. I had the name.
Yeah,
it's catchy. I wanted to do it. We were going to do the cookout anyway.
Yeah, might as well give back while we're here.
And it's not hard. It doesn't hurt anybody. When it grew, it got difficult. I know. I kind of.
Well, tell us about those difficulties.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of people don't know about that. So it was simple when we first started doing it because we still collected a lot of stuff. But it was manageable because I had a truck and things like that. But I want to say about the third year, it was a lot. It was a lot of stuff and it was a lot of work sorting through all those things. But we adapted. I think fourth year I got a truck. I rented a van and I was like, okay, this is the way to go. Yeah. So I just kept going with that. Just adapted to the situation. It grew fast. Yeah. I didn't expect it to grow that quickly because charity stuff don't really catch on the same way as other functions, things they related to art, music, parties, food. Those things are more easy to grab attention or a crowd or a following. So I thought the charity things were going to be community based. Sycegame affiliates, friends, family, things like that. But it grew. Yeah. It grew. So I just had to adapt. And once I adapted, it was fun. It was a momentary, ooh, this is real. But it worked out. Okay.
So with 2022 looming on us, because by the time this comes out, it's probably going to be like the middle of 2022. Yeah. What are you looking to bring to life? Because you've done campaigns, you've pushed a lot of buttons, you've taken a lot of photos, and in every single part of this, you've always created rooms and community. You created a community for Matt McGee. You created community for Hippo. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
My goat.
Yeah. You created community for Sir EU. You created community for the kids before they had a place. And even as an adult now, I think you're still creating community. And if not community, you are creating experiences where people learn to give back. So what are you looking to accomplish within 2022, touching 2023?
Create a community for the kids, in the sense of the people you name. At that time, we were kids too. Yeah. So I wouldn't say, and that's what I love about everything I've done, and everything that I've been a part of. I didn't really create a community for them. We created a community. We did. We did. Even Matt, EU, all it wouldn't have been. It wasn't. I was a part of it. Yeah. I was able. It was if this was one giant table, I was able to bring something to the table. They brought something to the table, and that era, leading up to where we all are now, it's special.
Avion included, man. Definitely a lot of influence.
Definitely. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But yeah, yeah, that threw me off. That took me back.
Nah, think about that.
Yeah, no, 80,
because
man,
like
80.
At times I go back to the moments and the shows that we went to at Art Under Pressure, and between Art Under Pressure and what's the name of the New Vegan, what it used to be called?
ELC.
And how between those two locations there was just a lot of culture that was running around.
Yes.
In DC, between clothing and feelings and words,
everything,
and rapping
and the word,
like,
and everybody involved. It wouldn't have been what it was if anybody was missing.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been able to do what it did if even one person was missing, and that's what made it beautiful.
Yeah.
It was literally the Big Bang. Like all the necessary ingredients were there for it to happen. Organically.
We're always hungry. And when we ate, we made sure everybody else ate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, I have this opportunity here. You trying to be a part of this? It's a yes or no question. We as a community, and the only reason I use we for me is because even though I'm from Jersey, I was a part of the culture.
Oh, yeah. Pillar. That's what Sycegame is. You can't go on. We can keep going back over and over, but you can't call any one member the lead, because everyone is a solid pillar, a very solid pillar. If they weren't there, it wouldn't be what it is.
Yeah,
it wouldn't.
Yeah,
when one of us falls back, another one steps up. But I'm sorry, that was a tangent as well.
No. Those are good tangents. That's what we're here for. That's what this is.
But to answer your question, community, you said, what do I see or what do I want from community? What's
next?
What's next?
Yeah, what's next?
Community. So I really love. I don't need, and that's a beautiful thing to say. I don't need to throw a grand event anymore.
Yeah,
I'm going to, because come on,
God.
I'm going to, but it's deeper. I'm more so for 2022. I'm more so focused on community, getting more people involved, giving more people opportunities. I can do a huge party.
Yeah,
it can have 1,000 people in there, but I don't want people to just feel like they're just showing up to something to go back home. I want everybody who, if I'm doing something, I want people to feel a part of it.
Yeah.
I want them to feel involved. And that's my goal.
The experience.
And that's my goal, to build a bigger community of people of what Sycegame was from the beginning. So I'm kind of going backwards on a grander scale. I want like-minded people to feel at home.
All right.
I want like-minded people to feel at home.
Where can they find you? Where can these people find you?
Where can people find me? I'll be around.
What's the Twitter? What's the Instagram?
My Twitter, my Instagram. I've never done that plug. Like shameless plugs.
I love a plug.
Feels so weird.
Does it?
It does.
I mean, that's literally what the show's built around.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's adjacent.
I'm not promoting myself. I need to promote myself. But nah, Twitter. That's weird. Twitter dub. I mean, I'm Dub B. It is. You know, Twitter Dub B, DUBB_B. Instagram DUBB.B. That's where you can find me. But
talk about Sycegame.
I'm not interesting. You know, I post food.
A lot of great food.
Yeah, I like food.
A lot of great fresh food.
I'm a foodie.
Food is everywhere. It's all over the page.
Yeah.
It's wild.
My stories is just foodie. Food is food and shenanigans.
Yeah.
So
where can folks find Sycegame?
Sycegame.
You gotta spell it. There's like spellings.
Is there though?
There's 3 different Sycegames floating around in DC right now.
Is there though?
There's.
Is there though?
This is like the Highlander. There can only be one.
I hear it.
And it's not a slight though, because like it's good to see other groups doing things. But there's only the one with the Y.
Is there though? Groups? Other groups?
What, using the name?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's 2 groups using the name. But there's only one group that has the Y.
I guess. But I can't say.
You guys have met. You guys have met. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, met.
Who?
Folks.
Who?
Folks.
Who?
You.
Who?
The chat.
What chat?
Well, we talked about this. The folks who were using it and you guys had a convo and it was like, oh yeah, no, that's cool. Because it doesn't hurt the brand because it's already made. You remember there was Syce and Syce, the one with the Y and the one with the I, right? And they reached out to you because it's like, oh, we do that too, and they're like, oh, we do that, but you actually knew the people who were doing it. You guys grew up separately. They're folks who you know.
I know the story you're saying.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it. It's because it doesn't phase us at all. But a lot of people say, you know, there's different spellings of Syce. It's like, so why do you guys spell Syce with a Y and not I? Because in DC, how is it spelled? It's a thing. How is Syce really spelled? Because because I think we ruined that because Sycegame is prominent, so people know the SYCE.
It's still going.
But the answer is in Washington D.C. Syce is spelled SICE. But if you game,
it always comes back to the game,
and that's what it comes down to. So, if you're from DC, Maryland, Virginia, DMV, it is spelled SICE.
Yeah,
I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to deny it. But if you are part of our community, our family, if you're one of us, it's SYCE.
Yeah,
and that's what separates it. But that goes back to. It comes full circle. We don't follow regular trends, so
we don't follow trends at all.
Right. So it's for us. When you see SYCE, you know they're talking about us. When I say, you know, we're Syce, I'm Syce you, I'm SYCE and you know that's us. You're being supported by family versus just your average definition of the word Syce.
Yeah.
So when you add that Y, it's a deeper meaning than just your standard slang.
I think Sycegame's one unofficial rule is every time someone from Sycegame do an event, if possible, we all try to show up, if possible, to at least the first event.
Correct.
Never spoken out loud, always seen it.
We've never, and that's what I love. It's unspoken and it's genuine, and that's what I love us. I genuinely love all of you, like deeply. I love all of you deeply because
you know it's mutual.
Yeah. I know. But yeah, there's no one's had to ask somebody to post nothing. Nobody has to ask nobody for help. It's to the point where we know we have each other's back so much we try to avoid each other. Like, yo, I know if I send out a text message saying I need help, they'll help me, but nah.
Yeah.
Nah. So we it's good to know that people have your back no matter what. And on the reverse end of it, it also feels good to know that people know I have their back.
Yeah.
It's comforting knowing that if I need to call Juice, Juice will be there.
Yeah.
And I get the same comfort in knowing that Juice knows if he calls me, I'm there.
Yeah. Yeah, you've seen me pick up the phone and be like, I need to pull up.
Yeah.
Oh, even the track gun at the party. I can't get over it. Alright, so I shouldn't be saying this, but when it went off, everyone's reaction was a movie, bro. There were folks hopping over fences. There were people tumbling in the middle of sidewalks to get behind a car. There was someone who truly booked down a block. And you and I looked at each other. It was a track gun. Track guns aren't real guns. It was a track gun. But then it was also a good time to wrap the party up and keep it moving.
Nah, the party kept going.
Did it?
I remember. Only because I was a DJ. I remember what song I played next.
What song did you play
It was
next?
it was Poison.
Because it was a girl who did it. There's genius there, because I never thought about the song that you played after that.
And it was also undeniable. Like, because everybody was in the room. It's up. All you hear is da 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 da. If I was you, I'd take per cup. Like, everybody was like the little girl, like, should we?
It's nervous. Should we still be partying right now? Yeah.
But clearly, if no one else is alarmed,
I mean, no one got shot.
you know, fuck it. It's driving me out of my life. Everybody was just back. It was back. But no, it was what it was. Allegedly.
Didn't she come back?
Allegedly. I heard that story was made up and it never happened. And that night, that wasn't even a really party. That was
not at all.
That was a party we thought about throwing, but we never threw it.
It was just imaginations.
Right.
Yeah, wild imaginations. Wildest dreams. Our elders with wildest dreams.
Right.
Yeah.
But if we did throw a party where someone showed up with a track,
Yeah. You know, the finest of tracks. We got top flight security because it was never in the party. It was never in the party.
never had that one physical altercation at a party.
No, not at all.
And that's actually, I'm proud of that. Don't know how. Now, as I am now, I'm very skilled at keeping things, you know.
You can see it coming.
Right, but back then, we was out here just. I was not paying attention. I was so busy focusing on logistics that I wasn't even thinking about that aspect of the atmosphere. And we've never had no altercations.
Or altercations were moved out of parties quickly before it became that.
Oh yeah.
And taken care of at the front. Yeah.
As I said, top flight. Like we had the great, like before it even, it always went down either a block away or on the front.
Yeah.
And ended immediately on the front.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, well, this has been another episode of If You Build It, man. My boy Bronson. Appreciate you, bro.
In a nutshell, especially with creatives, people that are creatives, in the sense of if you build it, it's a process. It's literally a process. And within that process, a lot of people are going to doubt it. If you've put a lot of time, thought, and effort in whatever it is you're creating, push it. Whatever you're putting your heart into, if you're putting your heart into it, if you're putting time into it, continue to push it.
Yeah.
Trust the process. Results will come.